Alright guys, this video is basically going to give you an update on what's going on with the tuts here. I just did a lot of optimizations in the code 18 minutes ago. Yeah, with another slightly updated picture. Now if you'll notice from the last time I had hit Q to quit, this time I have hit Q to quit with a pipe symbol and then hit R to reboot. So I've added that. This runs smoother now back and forth. And the reason I could do all of that is right here. I'll just give an example. Since that picture is showing tut 12, let's see here. What are we doing? Yeah, this one right here. If you recall, I had the, where are you? I lost it, didn't I? Ah, there it is. Okay, I had the hit any key, and basically it would do that, but I also had an extra function in there that would reset the keyboard. I had that above it. Well, I've put it in its own little thing right here. And then I would check for a key, and that would get stored in this, and then it would check it based off of whatever key I hit. And in this case, the Q key. But I found out that was inefficient. It wasn't going to work by doing it this way, the way I originally had it. So now with this updated here, it can check if there's an actual event, and it sends it to the status. If the status comes back EFI success, meaning that there is a key in the buffer, then what it does is it stores it here, and then I'm calling this going, okay, I'm sending it a key, so let's compare the key that's inside that buffer. If it's equal, then we'll return a 1, meaning true, because I've set it now, I've set this GetKey as a Boolean. Or if it doesn't work with that key, well, then we return a 0 or a false in this case. So yeah, I had to add all that in. Another thing I had to add in for all of the for every single tutorial that I had to add, let's see, at the top, this. And this is because a friend of mine was letting me know that this was not working for him, and it dawned on me that because the UEFI uses UNICODE, this wouldn't have worked even on regular PC in a normal way anyways. So I had to set this up so that the GCC compiler would know, hey, this is UNICODE that we're dealing with, and it's mandatory for UNICODE. UNICODE basically means UTF-16 for 16 bits. But on a Mac, it's 32 bits. So what he had to do is he had to change this to, which is basically that. He had to remove the word short and set it to unsigned int instead, so that he could get his to work on the Mac. So I thought I'd point that out. Well, what that means is it's 32-bit on his Mac, most likely. That's what I'm assuming at this point. But normally it's 16 bits for Windows and for regular PCs. So keep that in mind when it comes to this. If you run into an error with this right here, try changing this to an int, unsigned int, and see if that works for you. Because your computer may be 32-bit if you're on a Mac. Now, Linux should still use this method here because it's on PC. But, you know, if you're on another device that uses Linux, say like an Android or whatever, you may have to change that as well. But for now, that's what we have. So, but yeah, this define is for the compiler so that it lets it know that, hey, we are working with wide characters, or in this case 16-bit characters. Now in a later episode when I get to fonts, I'll end up having to change a few things, but for now this works just fine. So that's what I had to change on all of the tutorials. I had to set up the defines here But in tutorial 10, 11, and 12, I updated that GetKey function. So, yeah, let's check that out. Okay, so on the GetKey function, going source, number 10, yeah, work with me here. Okay, I'm going to start with here first. And what I've done, as you saw earlier, is added that right there. So this again checks it. If it comes back as status EFI success, that means that we check it here, and it fills that in and verifies it according to true or false, and it returns that. All right. The reset keyboard is basically my flushing of the keyboard. So now we're going to see how we implement this, and that will be under the main when you're scrolling down. And we set up the keyboard here after the message of the Q and R right there. So we set that up there. This delay, by the way, needs to be put on the inside, not on the outside. I don't know why I have that on there. This will speed it up. Actually, yeah. There, that'll fix an optimization problem that I had. And here it is right here. So this is the function now, the way it's set up. So we check the key, check the status. If it comes back here, then it checks this. If it's not a 1 here, then it checks this, because we're not flushing it each time. And I kept doing this. Yeah. So now it's properly working. And that's pretty much it. That's the optimization there with moving the delay down to here. So now that'll work. And yeah, so let's save that, compile this, and see what this is about. Oh, one other thing. This section here, what I'm doing here after the graphics boot, and we do the ... dots, I don't think I was actually doing anything else. Yeah, this is basically was about the graphics. So yeah, that was tutorial 10. Well, what do you know? Okay, so basically I guess I'm redoing that, and I'm going to share so you could see how this works much better with these optimizations. So go here, go there, that, there, direct, and HDD. And now it should run a lot smoother. There we go. And first I'm going to try the VirtualBox so you can see what that can do. There we go. And that came up slow. Okay, hit any key, it does its thing, and voila. And you notice this is a lot smoother back and forth now. It's not so jerky. And I can hit a bunch of keys and nothing really happens. Hit the R and it reboots, and it continues on. So this is working. So with that working, say OK, powering it down. Now let's try this in QEMU. And I also put in the description of my last video that I did fix and figure out that the shutdown does work here. So hit any key. Now when you hit R this time, hit R, it takes a second. That's normal. That's QEMU for you. Unfortunately, there's nothing you can do about that. But check this out. This time when you hit the Q to actually shut down this computer, it works. So QEMU does, I'm sorry, VirtualBox does not allow the shutdown command, but QEMU does. So I hope this helps, and I will see you on the next tutorial. So I think the next tutorial, I guess, would be number 11. And in that one, we will get to files. So, all right. See you on the next tut.